In this video, we are going to set up a new Google Analytics 4 account for a client. So you're going to come over here to admin if you're not there already. Let's create an account. And let's just call this test account. And I like to do, it doesn't really matter. You can do it all there. Now your property is going to be test property. And you can set, let's do New York time. That's where we are. Now over here under your property, properties are going to have streams. You have an account. On the account level, you have your, let's say this is the client account, or for us, this is a Short Hills Design account. And under that, we might have multiple web properties. We do have our main website. We have our store where we sell our templates. We have a bunch of properties that we keep together. So this would be a property. And under each property, you can have different streams. So let's come over here and let's just do marketing. Let's just do computers, it's fine. Small, you select what's appropriate for you. And I like to just pick baseline reports. Let's accept the terms of service. Oh, I accept, there we go. We are ready to collect data, but to do that, we have to create a stream. So we're not doing an Android app or an iOS app, so we just need a web stream. So now we're gonna start collecting data. So here is now we're gonna start collecting data. So let's come to web for our platform because we're not using Android or iOS for this. And we'll call this my test website sample.com. You can call the stream whatever you want. I don't need to put the URL for us in the stream, so we can say, client website stream, whatever works for you. And then create and continue. Now it's gonna tell you, great, now we have the stream, but we've got to set up a Google tag. There are a number of different choices. What I like to do is, you can come here, you can install it using a plugin or other kind of things like that. I don't like to do that because if you're using WordPress, for example, and you have a plugin that you use to add analytics, and that plugin changes or you don't want to use the plugin anymore, I'd rather install it manually. There's nothing wrong with the plugin, but for us to install it manually, we use Tag Manager, which I have a separate video, which I'll link below so you can see how to set up Tag Manager and how to add analytics to Tag Manager. GA4, of course. Over here, for example, if we were using you need a landing page and I had to throw some GA4 on it, I could certainly use that tag. So once you install GA4, you'll verify it over here, and it will tell you over here actually that it's verified. So let's take a look at some of what the other options are for our property. Now, no data yet, of course, that makes sense. Let's go to admin and see what we got. So account, so you can see here, as usual with Google, there are multiple ways to get to things. So account details. This is just that information. Access management, let's say you wanted to share with somebody else. This is the current account, but you could come here and add users or user groups. Next is filters. You'll notice that Universal Analytics had filters. GA4 does not have filters. So no filters for us. Let's come over here to property settings. And the property itself, we talked about this. This was our property, the category, access information. Now you might want someone else to have access to the property. So for example, on the account level over here, let's come to account settings, access management. You might want the administrator to have access to that account. But for this property, you might want just the administrator and the person, the webmaster just for test property. But if you have a property, test property 2, you might want test property 2 manager to have access to that. So this admin, Short Hills Marketing, let's say, would have access to the entire account. Whereas the property, on the property level, you can define that I just want this person to have access to that property, this person to have access to the other one. Scheduled emails, analytics search, you can come over here. Some of this changes a little bit. You're not going to see any information here because we just started this account. So let's look at data collection. And here's where we just were living in the stream. Let's take a look and see. So over here under consent settings, I like to go ahead and set up consent mode. If you're not going to be doing, so here are your consent banners. I use a consent banner with a third-party platform. And this is, again, if you have to have some kind of cookie warning, whether you're in Europe, the United States, California, you can have a custom banner. You don't have a banner. If you don't have a banner, it'll walk you through trying to get a banner. In our case, we happen to, on our website, we use HubSpot, so we happen to have a banner, but that'll be up to you. The manager's default consent settings for data collection, those apply if you're doing ads in the European Union. For managed data use across Google services, you can select what services you want to allow data sharing with or disallow on a granular basis. For most users, all Google services is a fine thing to select. Enhanced management, they're showing you what they're setting up by default, what comes with it. So they basically have everything set up for you. That's fine. Modify events, you don't have to. I have another video that talks about creating custom events. Protocol API secrets, those are used if you need to connect Google Analytics to certain things. You don't always need that. Now your tag, same thing. This is just getting back into your tag. And for now, we don't need to get into this. This is a little more advanced than we need. But obviously, you have your tag instructions there. Data collection. Again, over here, it's talking about consenting to things with Google Ads. And over here, you can read this and see if this applies to you. This is just about collecting data. We can turn that on. Now, granular location, again, up to you. If it will let you turn it on and it's easier for you, I say go ahead and turn it on. Again, it just depends upon what your organization does. Data import, we don't need. Retention, we can always set it for as much as possible. Now, data filters, you can have filters here if you want. Now, certainly if you've got, for example, if you have a static IP, if you don't know what a static IP is, then forget it. But this is designed, let's say, for an organization where you have a static IP or traffic from inside your company. We don't want that to see in our data. There are a lot of ways to filter out otherwise, but for now, for basic setup, you can ignore that. Data deletion requests, we can skip. Data display. Now, so here's the data. We can look at events. And events are a bunch of default events. Let's get rid of that. That come with analytics. Key events used to be called conversions. I have a separate video on how to set up events in analytics. Audiences, again, this is mostly for when you're doing Google Ads, comparisons, account. If you're using anything else here, especially Search Console, you come over here and you link to Search Console. You'll sign into Search Console over here, and it will give you a link of what properties are here to link to analytics. And once you've set up the Search Console links and any other links that you want to add, any other products, then you're done and you are set up for Google Analytics 4.